send some pictures.
All right, look at the camera.
Okay, sweetheart. I love you. Congrats.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Rusell Slocum, and I'm.
Hang on. Yeah, I'll count you in when we're ready to go.
3, 2,
Oh, okay.
1.
Okay.
3.
2, 1.
My name is Rusell Slocum, and I'm a proud West Care graduate. You know, my story started off with my dad committed suicide in front of me when I was 15 and a half years old. That forever changed my life, and it caused me to ball up a thing of emotions and try to put them behind my mind. I didn't know how to relate, so I didn't really try to. I just tried to ignore the pain. I found myself quickly acting out on that in aggression and became a gangbanger, a hardcore gangbanger, and living that type of lifestyle. Began drinking 40s and whatnot, and you know, the skills I learned on the streets I decided to apply towards being in the military. So I decided to go ahead and join the Army, and I ended up serving a tour in Bosnia and became a combat veteran. Actually a highly decorated soldier, 6 medals, 9 ribbons, and a lot of PTSD from all the things that I did and witnessed while I was out there. Those further caused a lot more chaos, causing a lot of wreckage inside me. You know, I came home from the military, I was a man, I was a soldier, but I was still broken inside. I sought psychiatric help, but psychiatric help didn't seem to have a big favor back then because PTSD wasn't a coined word. And so I decided to self-medicate because the night terrors became too much. They became vivid nightmares I couldn't escape, and so I decided to find my own self-evaluation, self-escape by finding a drug called crystal meth. I figured if I didn't have to sleep, I didn't have to go through those night terrors anymore, watching exploding bodies in front of me. Quickly, the meth took over, and I began selling because, let's face it, obviously I had to finance my habit. I quickly began selling and got really good at it to the point where I fought a case from 6 to 12, consecutive to 6 to 12, consecutive to another 1 to 6 years in prison. After that, I ended up taking a deal for a 1 to 6 concurrent to a 1 to 6 concurrent to a 1 to 4 in prison, and the judge still ran it consecutive, so I ended up spending 4 more years of my life in prison for the first time. It was that time that I still didn't realize I was an addict, even though consequences of my addiction were prevalent. When I got out, I got my life together, got my life on track, and I ended up getting married with 6 kids, and you know, the addict behavior started coming back because, after all, the roaring lion still surfaced. What began as a weekend warrior full of tricks began as an avid nightmare. During that time, I graduated cum laude, all A's in my college profession and my degree, and then quickly the next semester is all D's and F's. Addiction really took root and really took hold. I started losing myself. I lost all my hopes, my dreams, my ambitions. There was always an excuse to use. Whether it was a new job, which I would quickly lose, whether it was a new love or a new friendship, or I got paid a certain way, or you know, I blinked too much, I stubbed my toe. There was always a reason to use because it was no longer me. I was just a shell. I was just an abandonment of myself before I abandoned anybody else. Quickly, it progressed to where I lost my wife, I lost my kids, my family had had enough. They couldn't watch me kill myself anymore. And I got to a place where, you know, I was like before a weekend warrior, I was a constant user, you know. I was like the Incredible Hulk. You know, I would come home and I would mean to do well, but all the anger and all the chaos and all the devastation, I meant to do well, but it never went out that way, and I just caused a lot of wreckage. And then I would just sit there and be sad with myself. You know, I couldn't stop. There was no way to stop. There was no ability to stop. There was no desire to stop, so I just kept on going. Eventually, I got to a place where I ended up in a motel room and wanted to commit suicide. And, you know, through the dark demons, I did take my life, and I ended up coming back 3 hours later. I have to thank my God for that because, obviously, I had another mission to do. And so I decided to fight. I thought enough was enough, so I raised my hand in surrender, and I ended up making 3 very important phone calls. The first one was to my wife, not because I wanted her back, or I wanted her to want me back, but because I just wanted to know I was somewhere safe. The second was to my VA caseworker, and the VA got me into the West Care program up in the mountain. The third was to my pastor, Pastor Paul Kelker with Fresh Wind, and he helped me fight to get my own establishment of what I thought I needed. You And then I went to West Care. West Care was the greatest place I could have ever went to. It was salvation for me. It was like breathing fresh air again. You know, I learned how to be myself. I learned I could believe in myself. I learned that I could have a value of myself today. I didn't have to no longer believe that I was no more than just something that the addiction taught me to be. Today I'm a great father. I'm a volunteer. I help feed the homeless. I'm my kid's favorite volunteer at school as a parent volunteer, and I also do a lot of other things like speaking to other people, trying to get the message out, trying to get the message that we can be something more than what we were. We don't have to live our lives in the chaos of addiction. We no longer have to be a prisoner because we have the key in our own pocket. All we have to do is be willing to believe in ourselves. Since then, and since getting out, I decided to make a recovery group, and in that recovery group, which is Mountain Men Make It, it's the recovery group here on my shirt, and quickly within 6 months, this recovery group of all men helping men and brothers helping brothers has grown to over 1,500 members. You know, that's what West Care taught me. It taught me to believe in myself, and it taught me how to pass that torch on to others. For that, I'm grateful, especially to people like Mr. Zachariah, Mr. Sean, Mr. Hubert, and above all, Mr. Leo. You know, you guys, because you believed in me and because you're still a constant support, you showed me how to love myself again. You gave back a husband to a wife, a son to a mother, and a father to his children, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
All right.